in, boys. Good evening. How are we?
What up? What up?
Hello, everybody.
There you go.
Welcome on in. How you boys feeling tonight?
Got the heat on at the house. It's a little cold in Michigan here, and my basement's getting warm. It used to be freezing cold.
Finally broke down and kicked the heat on.
Oh, yeah.
We had guys
How,
complaining about how hot it got in the station today, even though the outside temperature was 64. So the air is pumping at the fire station.
We just want to welcome you on in to WPF, the When Pigs Can Fly Fantasy Football Show. We're your hosts. I'm Sal Adams. We've got Mr. Corey Lamberts and the Wesley Bryant.
Let's go.
A couple big trades went down this week. Big trades in the real world. Devontae Adams, now a Jet. More importantly, in my opinion, Amari Cooper
Bill
is a Buffalo Bill. We were wondering if Devontae Adams would wind up a Buffalo Bill. I thought that was a great fit. Turns out Amari Cooper's going there. I think that's a great fit for both of them.
Yeah.
He's had a down year because the quarterback play in Cleveland's been so bad.
Vikings got a new backup running back.
Cam Akers is back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
That was funny. I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. What? We've seen this story before.
Does that mean that they're expecting an extended period of time for Aaron Jones to be down, or do we not know?
I think they just want to be prepared for anything because
they're in the NFC North and it's tough this year, so I get that.
It sure is, yeah. It's very tough up there.
That's fair. Oh yeah, those are the big trades that that are affecting the fantasy football world. Cam Akers maybe not quite as much, but definitely could. When he's played for the Texans this year, he's had some efficiency and some not efficiency. Anyways, with that being said, we've got a lot to go over this evening. Got another really fun episode here for all of us. We've got studs and duds. We've got hot and cold. We've got Thursday night football coverage. We've got our positional power rankings. And then after we get through all that stuff, we're going to round right back around and go on down to our league's picks, our home league picks, and go over those games. So we've got a lot to go over. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, it's time to fasten your seatbelts because the WPF show is about to take flight. I was waiting for it.
There we go.
There she is.
There we go.
Studs.
Studs.
I'm gonna jump right off at the quarterback studs because this is your favorite guy, Jared Goff. Your boy.
Gross. Get him off the show.
18
Get him off.
315, 3 touchdowns, 31.1 fantasy points. Let's go, Jared Goff.
Hey man, as long as he's playing like that, I'm fine with him. This week was the best game I've ever seen him play. Even better than the perfect game. Truly.
To put that into perspective here, Jared Goff went 18 for 25, and my dud went 16 for 27. 2 less completions, 2 more pass yards, but he didn't throw for 315 yards. He threw for 95, and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He also took out a ball boy and tore his ACL, I'm pretty sure. Will Levis, 9.3
Wow.
points.
Heck of a stat.
Yeah.
Derek, if you're listening, yikes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Dud.
Those are good. I'm going to go ahead and let Corey jump in. I'll go last.
Yeah, this was fun. I was trying to figure out some studs and duds that we haven't run yet. And definitely ones that we each other haven't, tried to pick somebody that neither one of us have, well, at least won't pick today.
Yeah.
So it took me a little bit, but I don't think it was that difficult. My stud, rookie first start, Drake May.
Okay.
It was awesome.
20 of 33 for 243, 3 tutties, 2 interceptions, 25.5 fantasy points. What a start. Have a day,
QB8.
kid.
QB8 on the week.
QB8 on the week.
Just so you know, he left practice to get an MRI. But he had a full practice. Just throwing it out there. I just saw that.
All right. I appreciate that.
But
and then my dud. I know we've done this before. At least I have. God, I can't believe they're still paying this dude this much money. 16 of 23, 168
Sounds like
yards,
Deshaun
no
Watson.
touchdowns yet again. 8.4 fantasy points. Deshaun Watson. Stefanski came out again and reiterated he is our starting quarterback. He gives us the best chance to win. Win what? Pick one? Is that what you guys are shooting for? Another top end loaded quarterback that you're not going to be able to play? Sorry, you guys are looking for new jobs next year.
People were asking for what? Jameson Winston? Is that right?
I would rather see Jameis Winston play. At least he throws the ball downfield.
At least he gives good pregame speeches, right?
Yeah, got to eat that dub.
All right, what you got, Sal?
Yes.
What you got?
Well, I wrote down a couple studs. Drake May was actually one of them. I thought he had a great game. Brock Purdy, though, 30.1 fantasy points, 18 of 28 for 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. He was good enough for QB5 on the week. It was a good week for him. Nice to see him liven up. And on the duds side, I feel bad doing this to my Uncle Brad, but I know he doesn't like this guy. 17 of 33, 178 yards, 2 interceptions.
Bug just flew on your
28.
camera.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was weird.
Yeah, it landed and then took off.
QB 28 on the week, 3.2 fantasy points. He actually, so 2 interceptions counted. He actually threw a third. They threw a bogus penalty. Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
QB 28,
Sweet.
3.2 fantasy points on the week. Kirby Joseph had, I believe it was a first drive interception in the end zone. They wound up throwing, of course, a penalty, and just
That away, boys.
Hey, Corey, what was that thing you said something about a vacuum earlier?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. I thought my vacuum was broken. Threw a cowboy sticker on it, then it started to suck again.
Yeah.
America's team. Yeah, right.
Detroit.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump in on wide receivers.
Let's do it.
Wide receivers. I'm gonna start with my stud. I did 2 again. I'm gonna name one, and I'll circle back to the last one or the other one later if you guys don't cover him. My stud on the week: 22.4 fantasy points in a PPR
This
format.
is mine.
Wide receiver 6 on the week, 9 of 9 for 132 yards.
This is my stud. This says Zay Flowers.
Sorry. So my stud actually is wide receiver 8 on the week, 21.2 fantasy points, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Demario Douglas.
Who?
Nice.
Yeah, Demario Douglas. Drake May's number 1 target, baby.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Wide receiver 8 on the week, 21.2 fantasy points. That was a good game from him.
Do you have it in front of you? What his percentage of ownership is in on Sleeper?
I don't, but it's not high.
No,
it's not high.
It's not high. I might have that on the flip side of my paper here. My dud for the week. Again, I had 2, but I'm gonna go with the worst of the 2. He had 8 targets, 3 receptions, 53 yards. In a PPR format, that's 8.3 fantasy points. Wide receiver 45 on the week, George Pickens.
He's talking about Amon Ra being this slot merchant on somebody's podcast earlier. He's getting roasted. Demario Douglas, by the way, is currently rostered now at 86%, but 32% started. I don't know what it was before that.
So that's got to be in a dynasty format, I would bet.
Okay. And so since you already read off the stats for my stud, Zay Flowers, that's okay. That's why I let you know. I love
stats.
I love the 9 for 9, 132 yards,
Wow.
22.4 points. No, he started with Zay Flowers stats. That's why. And I was looking at him. I was like, he's reading Zay Flowers right now. So that's why I switched to Demario Douglas.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, beautiful. 9 targets, 9 receptions, 132 yards. Perfect. My dud also had, well, not 9 targets, but 8 targets, 0 receptions. Levis is to blame. Targets were awful. This is Calvin Ridley. He had 0.9 fantasy points because he had 1 rush for 9 yards. Calvin Ridley is the dud because Will Levis is the dud. They go hand in hand. What you got, Corey?
Well, I'm gonna do this real quick because my phone keeps blowing up. So I'm gonna call him back here in a second after I do my stud and dud for wide receiver. My wide receiver, 8 of 10, 107, one touchdown. He is one of my guys. That one was pretty easy for me to pick.
Naturally.
24.7 fantasy points. I actually did start him this week, so it did help me. Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Conversely, even though Devontae Adams got traded there, I actually think that'll help him a lot. But then my dud, another Cleveland Brown. 4 of 6, 42 yards, no touchdowns, 8.2 fantasy points. Amari Cooper.
He's
Well,
But
he's
now that he's
actually
a
a football
Bill,
bill.
that'll change.
he's a Bill now. But yeah,
I promise
yeah.
that'll change.
So, I guarantee you it'll change. But yeah, that's my stud and dud at wide receiver.
Don't end the call. Just mute yourself.
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
gonna mute myself.
Okay. You want me to jump into running backs? So
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Let's
I
do it.
got my stud running back just came back from a little injury stint. Joe Mixon, 13
Yeah,
carries,
wow.
102 yards, one touchdown on the ground, 2 receptions, 30 yards, 1 touchdown receiving.
Yeah,
Only 42% snap percentage with all those stats. He only played
Wow,
42% of the
really?
snap. Yes.
Wow.
27.2 fantasy points back from injury.
So sorry to
Oh,
interrupt.
Oh boy. What do we got here?
Oh man, here it
What you
comes.
got for us?
Afternoon, gentlemen. My poop pile of the week had 16 carries for 51 yards, 2 receptions for 16 yards, and no touchdowns. These are pretty modest numbers for a running back, but this doesn't belong to one running back, but an entire running offense. My poop pile of the week goes to the Jaguars running offense.
Oof. Yikes. Jaguars running offense. Tank, ETN. Who else they got? Oof.
It's everybody. Dearness Johnson?
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yeah. All 3 of them.
Well,
That's bad, dude. Unexpected.
I
Unexpected in the
didn't
trio.
have that. That sounds, yeah, that's pretty bad. I had the guy that you had as a lock last week who actually did well, but this week,
Oh.
Trey Sermon,
Okay.
18 rushes for only 29 yards. 18
Yeah.
rush attempts, 29 yards, 2.9 points. That's my
That's
dud.
tough. It's a good dud. That's a good dud. I've got. I wish Corey was ready. I'd let him go next, but I've got 2. My stud of the week was incredibly unexpected. Stud. It's a guy that I've been watching closely. He is not the typical starter for the
He's
team
back.
that he is on. Hey, by the way, poop pile
Yeah.
of the week, Corey, was the Jags' whole backfield.
Oh, that's not surprising at all.
So
What a
I'm
garbage
going.
offense that was this week.
I'm going into my stud. 20 carries, 97 yards, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 55 yards. Finished with 18.2 fantasy points on the week in PPR formats. He was RB13. Ray Davis.
Oh, yeah, I liked that. Solid.
Love it.
Ray Davis. Yep.
You want Corey to do his
Nice.
stud real quick before you do your second one?
No, I'm just gonna go right on
Okay.
into my dud.
Fine.
My dud had 18 carries for 47 yards. He had 2 catches on 2 targets for 7 yards. That's a grand total of 54 yards on 20 touches for 7.4 fantasy points. He was RB33 on the week. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's one of the best fantasy running backs in the NFL. Saquon Barkley.
Oh, I was going to say, that sounds like Saquon
Dud.
after all
Dud
that.
of the week. Yep, dud of the week.
Good.
Oof.
Yep. Good ones. Those are good ones. I like it.
Yep.
Am I-
Go ahead,
am I up
Corey.
next?
You're
You're up.
up. You're up.
Did you go already, Wes, or
Yeah.
no?
Oh, I had
Okay,
Trey Sermon was my dud, and my stud was Joe Mixon.
All right, cool. Good. All right. So I don't have either one of those guys on here. Good picks, both of you. My running back stud of the week was a little bit of a surprise, given the fact that the offense is a little dysfunctional without their wide receiver one. 17 carries, 50 yards, 6 catches on 6 targets, 57 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 22.7 fantasy points. Tyrone Tracy,
Oh,
Giants.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. It's like I said, I tried to pick something that we haven't done before, so that's on there. And then my dud, same division, same star logo as Dak Prescott.
Oh boy, here we go.
5 carries, 25 yards, 5 catches on 6 targets for 30 yards for a grand total of 55 total yards. 10.5 fantasy points out of your Cowboys are running back 1, Rico Dowdle. Gross. Not what
great.
you're expecting out of your number one guy,
Yeah,
at least in Dallas anyway.
Sounds awful.
So
Not good.
Man, I wonder who they played this week.
Well, apologize for missing that. There was a slight hiccup at home, so
you're
it's
good.
handled now.
Yeah.
We're good.
Everything's all right.
Oh yeah, just
Home life is more important than it is here.
technical issue with loading up a car carrier caddy.
Oh, gotcha. Good job. Way to solve that.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got tight ends. Corey, have you gone first yet? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to run right into it?
I love going first on tight ends.
Why don't you go first?
Sorry. That's another one of my guys.
Corey, you got to
very
talk
upset that I
your
didn't
guys.
start. It's hey man, I only did 2. It was easy. Evan Ingram, returning from 3-week hiatus after his hamstring.
I'm
4-week
missing this
hiatus
segment.
after his hamstring. Why?
I had Ingram. I told you guys who I had too, so it wasn't that hard to pick somebody else.
I didn't even see it. I really didn't. I hardly looked.
That's super stud this week, Evan Ingram. Welcome back.
10 of 10, 102 yards, 28.2 points. So sorry, Wes.
Okay. I agree.
And then my dud. I lied. I did have 3 guys. Jake Ferguson, 3 of 4, 11 yards.
You didn't check the group.
Cowboys. Cowboys. Well, when you rapid fire 100 different texts when I'm at work, sometimes things get missed.
Well, you guys know my stud.
So,
my dud.
It sounds like I have a stud and you have a dud. So why don't I go with the stud and you go with the dud? How's that?
Sounds good.
All right, my stud on the week. I actually had 2, so I've got one you can borrow. He, I'm just gonna go with the one. 5 catches on 5 targets, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. In your normal PPR format, that's 24 points. Tight end 1 on the week. Cole Kmet.
Okay. My stud's Mark Ingram then. He did well. I don't know his stats. But not Mark Ingram. Wow. Mark Andrews, sorry. Same guy.
He did.
Those two get together and have
my dud, Tucker Kraft.
hybrid tight end.
Tucker Kraft, I guess he's one of my guys. 2 receptions, 4 targets, 13 yards, 5.5 points on tight end premium. Oof.
Yep. Another stud, since we didn't mention him, Trey McBride, 8 catches on 8 targets for, I believe, 96 yards.
About time.
That's good. That's good for 17.6 in a PPR format. So that wraps up our studs and our duds. That's been a lot of fun for us to do, the studs and the duds. We're gonna keep trying to pump out new names or some repeat names. We're trying to find you guys that aren't always the same 3 guys. It's very easy. It's been very easy so far. We could say Chris Godwin every single week, stud. The guy's killing it. We could say Derrick Henry, stud. We're trying to find you names that you're not hearing. Maybe if you're in a league full of guys that aren't paying quite as close of attention, you might be able to pick some of these guys up. That Tyrone Tracy mentioned, especially in a redraft. Tyrone Tracy, that Ray Davis mentioned. These are guys you might want to be paying attention to. So we're trying to bring you some heat, if you will. Speaking of heat, it's that time. Who's catching fire and who's sending you to the waiver wire? It is time. Who you boys got?
I don't want to go first. I don't want to steal anybody's players.
I'm going to start. I can start. I'll start with catching fire. This is a running back who had 2 slow weeks to start. Since then, he has had 3 top 10 finishes on the weeks at 4, 7, 8, and then he also had an 18 in the last 4 weeks. His lowest score in a PPR format over those last 4 weeks is 15.30. He is running back 5 on the season, completely unexpected. And he's catching heat at the right time. He's catching fire at the right time because his 1B is coming off of the injured list. It's Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, yeah.
Chuba Hubbard.
That's Jonathan Brooks, right?
Jonathan Brooks it was announced that he's going to be coming off that list. So Chuba Hubbard is performing well at the right time. So he's been catching fire. He's been looking fantastic. Darian loves that guy. He's been starting him. He's been performing really well for him. So he's my first catching fire. I've got 2. So
I'll jump on the catching fire. I got a few. You mentioned this quarterback, Drake May. He's a starter now.
Oh yeah.
He's you mentioned all the stats earlier, but I went with another rookie quarterback actually as well, Bo Nix. He's starting to figure things out.
Yeah, he's look good.
Starting to look real good. I think he's week to week he's getting a little better. Starting to get a rapport with Cortland Sutton, so hopefully that pays off.
That was nice. Mm-hmm.
I'll hold there. I got some more, but go ahead, Corey. What you got?
I'm gonna do 2. Sending it to waiver wire. One is simple because he already lost the starting job. It's Gardner Minshew. If for whatever reason you haven't been paying attention, Aiden O'Connell got the nod this week, and it's going to be a tough offense going forward. So I probably might even throw Aiden O'Connell in there too, especially with the loss of Devontae Adams. There's a lot of things going on in Vegas. Until you can be for 100% sure that you know that he's going to get, even if it's 12 to 15. I don't even know that I do it then. And then also, like I said with my dad, it's Deshaun Watson. You can't start him anymore. Not now.
Yep, I had him on there. Good, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go into my next catching fire. This guy, I'm red hot. He's red hot right now. He has gotten exactly 9 targets in 3 of the last 4 weeks. Before the waiver wires went through on Wednesday for us, I believe that's today. Yeah. I believe it's like that for most people. He was 13% owned in redraft leagues. That is up to 39%. 39% after the waiver wire, which means 60% of your leagues still don't have him. Demario Douglas. He is looking like he's the wide receiver 1 in New England. We thought the wide receiver room in New England was not going to be great. Demario Douglas is somebody you want to go and grab because he is catching fire.
Okay. So I got a couple more fire just because they're quick and it's quite obvious. But what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and Devontae Adams' usage is going to skyrocket at the Jets. So Devontae Adams traded to Jets, Rodgers' favorite target, enough said. Amari Cooper to the Bills, we already talked about this. Josh Allen's going to get him the ball. So those guys. Yep. And then one more receiver, which is a tight end, Cole Kmet. If you didn't believe before, believe now. Caleb's starting to figure things out. That's his favorite end zone target. I haven't started him in a couple of my leagues, and I probably should because I just didn't realize that they were like that. So
yeah, they you guys said it all with the catching fire guys. It's perfect. I mean, there's only so much you can do so many times in a row with certain things, and then those big trades going down makes a huge difference for those players and their usage, and then the team, whatever's left behind. You could argue Jacoby Myers maybe going to the moon up there in Vegas, but also, for sure, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Straight up, all the way up. And then I have one more, possibly sending you to the waiver wire. His usage is still staying the same, but his fantasy points aren't really showing that. It's Jordan Mason in San Francisco.
That was my catching or my waiver wire guy. Yes, it was.
Was it? Yeah. So 14 for 89 last week, 9 for 73. This week 8.8 points, then 9.2 points.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. That hurts a lot.
Not to mention when Isaac Guerrero got put into the game, he went wild.
Yeah.
He went
Wildness.
bonkers.
Hmm.
People thought he
I've
was
got
going to be the guy in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him. And then when, the opportunity presented itself, it was Christian McCaffrey, so I dropped him. Shannon scooped him up, and it's gonna pay off for him, I think.
Hmm.
I've got one more guy that's sending you to the waiver wire. Most people drafted him to take over his offense's role. Maybe not this year, but in the future. Certainly plan to potentially start him in your flex. He is the 1B on his team, but he is not doing much with it. 3.4 yards per carry on the season. His highest finish on the season was 24. Sending you to the waiver wire is Tyjae Spears.
Oh, okay.
Tyjae Spears. Uh, you can't even roster him in a redraft. I mean, you could, but it's not really worth it.
It wouldn't be worth it. Nope.
I would have drafted him to potentially be in a flex spot if I needed to be, if I was in a bind. You're
Yeah.
not touching him.
In the same breath, Rashad White. See
Yeah,
examples
huge.
Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Honestly, this might be personal with both these guys, but Brandon Ayuk isn't consistent enough to keep. Maybe try and sell someone who loves 49ers or Ayuk.
All on the name. Yeah, all on the name.
That's what I'm saying. And the same thing with Isaiah Likely. Like he has a couple flashes in the pan. He has 2 really strong weeks and what three or 4 dud weeks. So
Yeah.
he seems to be the odd man out. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
I believe that's it for hot and cold. Is that it for hot and cold, Corey?
If I can jump in, I got 2 that maybe to watch out for. I don't know if I'd say hot and cold, but I'd say warming up. A couple guys that should be getting activated off the pup this week. T.J. Hawkinson and Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So keep
Nick
an eye
Chubb,
out,
for
guys.
sure.
If you haven't been paying attention,
Yeah, if you're in a league with guys that aren't like me, rostering them through the whole entire redraft season so far,
Yep.
just so they can play them in week 8.
Yep.
Get 'em.
Yep. yeah, keep an
Uh,
eye
Nick,
out.
Nick Chubb might be playing this week actually.
Ford is not, so to my knowledge,
yeah.
anyway. So at this point, anyways, it could change. Well, that's it for hot and cold. That's who's catching fire, who's sending you to the waiver wire. That's been a growing segment for us. We like that. Let's move on into positional power rankings, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Positional power rankings. I guess I'll go on quarterbacks.
Okay.
Just go around the table.
Quarterback. Make sure you say both my guys' names real loud for the people in the back.
I'm gonna mention both of your guys' names.
Leave them both off the list.
Number 5, Josh
Just
Allen.
fight.
Number 4, Joe Burrow, who should be on our Catching Fire episode because even though his team is not performing great, he is performing
lights
great.
out.
Number 3, Jaden Daniels, rookie phenom. Trying to fill in the shoes of CJ Stroud's excellent rookie season last year, but do it better. Number 2, the marvelous Lamar Jackson, who was number 1 last week, and he's flip-flopped with this week's current number 1, Baker Mayfield. It is unbelievable to me that we were 6 weeks in the NFL season and this guy is still in the top 5, let alone number 1. It's Baker Mayfield.
I can't help but listen to when you said Joe Burrow and you said he's doing great.
Oh
like
my
a Tony the
gosh.
Tiger. Couldn't help it.
Yep.
Bengals. All right.
Might have been on purpose.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that fake commercial about the Baker Mayfield has the Browns dreaming of what could have been, and then when they wake up and it's the actual radio show talking about Deshaun Watson, how bad he's been.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, the Browns. Yikes.
I'm gonna jump in with the position power rankings for the wide receivers since I think I can read this well. At number 5.
I'll give it a shot.
At number 5, Stephon Diggs. Taking advantage of Nico Collins being out. If Nico Collins was healthy, he would still be on this list, which would probably be pushing Stephon Diggs out.
Yep.
Number 4, Drake London.
That's my guy. Say it louder.
They're figuring it out. Drake London. That was a good trade we made earlier this year for you because I got Tyreek Hill, you got Drake London, and Tyreek Hill has no quarterback. Number 3, Jaden Reed. Jordan Love's favorite target.
Man, he's been good.
Number 2, Joey Burr's favorite target, Jamar Chase. And number 1 lines right up with the number 1 quarterback, and we got Chris Godwin.
If you'd have told me
It's
that those two were going to be
filthy.
one in their positions, man, I would have slapped you. I'd have laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have
for
laughed.
sure.
Godwin
Yep.
is the -- 1 wide receiver in the NFL.
Everyone's always counting out Baker. He's known that his whole life.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Guy wins everywhere he goes. I'll keep saying it.
You want tight ends or you want running backs there, Corey?
I'll leave you the running backs.
Okay.
I'll do the tight ends. Number 5, Tucker Kraft.
Even after a bad week this week.
After Goose.
Wow.
Yep.
There's a couple Packers on here. For those of you who aren't paying attention. Number 4, Trey McBride. Coming into the season, everybody was expecting him to do big things. Now it's showing up on paper, at least. Number 3, Cole Kmet. Caleb Williams' favorite target. Number 2, George Kittle. Not really much of a surprise there. And number 1, Brock Bowers.
Yep.
It's unreal, man.
Quite a few rookies.
Unbelievable.
Doing some good things.
Yep.
It's unreal.
In a position that usually takes at least 3 or more years to get a handle on the NFL.
So I dropped the ball on the quarterback power rankings instead of doing it by average, which is okay, just because we were looking at quantitative points. Jordan Love is actually tied with Baker Mayfield at 27.5 points per game on the season.
That doesn't count. Get him out of here.
So no, I just wanted to add that to
right.
what Corey had mentioned. All that would have done is that would have knocked out your boy Josh Allen out of the top 5, which I guess looking back, we should have done this actually.
Nah, that's okay.
So,
yeah, I think we should have.
So
I think we should have.
So 5 is Joe Burrow, 4 is Jaden Daniels, 3 is Lamar, 2 is Jordan Love, and Baker's still number 1 because he's played in more games.
Hey, is there any room for Anthony Richardson on that list?
Yeah.
Golly, no, there's no room for him on a roster at this
He's
point.
sitting in one of Shannon's poop piles somewhere.
Yes. He ain't made it out.
Multi-week.
All right, we got running backs.
Maybe we should check in on the guys that he's making his poop piles. I don't think they're doing so hot. Running backs,
Yeah.
number 5, as I'd mentioned earlier, Chuba Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the most surprising name on this list. The remaining 4 have been in this list pretty much all year. 4 is Kyron Williams, LA Rams. 3 is Saquon, even after a dud week. 2, King Henry. And number 1, still, until this week, when his co-back comes off of injured reserve, Alvin Kamara.
Kyron had to bye this past week, right? Rams didn't play, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
still
Rams
number
did
4,
not play.
So
And he's still number 4. Yep.
nice. All right.
So that's good to consider. Yeah, so that right there is your positional power rankings. You got to move on into the last slot for the everyday fantasy fellas that aren't here for our own Dynasty League purposes. It is the Thursday night football matchup.
Picks and locks.
Pick and lock, baby. We have the Denver Broncos, I believe, at New Orleans. Check me on that if I am wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
That is correct, yep.
That is correct.
You know,
Yes.
you know,
That is correct.
There we
it
go.
is. I got Denver winning this game. Bo Nix is my lock.
Okay. Corey?
Denver Bo Nix.
Denver. Cortland Sutton and Alvin
so.
Kamara. I gotta keep them locked
Okay.
there. One from each team. I like to do that sometimes. I got Bo Nix and Sutton getting some chemistry established, like I mentioned before. I knew I had that written down somewhere. But and Kamara's gonna be getting a lot of action this week with Olave and Shaheed being out. Correct me
And
if I'm wrong.
Shahid, yep.
Olave,
That's correct.
concussion.
Olave's already
Shaheed's-
ruled out, and
yeah.
Shahid had a procedure
Rattler's got to throw the ball somewhere.
done.
I would like to interrupt at this moment.
Mm-mm.
There is a name that I want to mention that I would almost guarantee most of you have not heard of. He is owned on 7% of rosters. He is a New Orleans Saint. Last week he had 8 targets, 5 catches for 45 yards. He is a wide receiver, 6'2", 215, rookie, Bub Means.
Oh yeah.
Watch him perform well. If
You hope
Shaheed is
so.
out and Olave is out, I'm telling you, I'm not going to play him because I'm so deep at wide receiver, it doesn't
Yeah, I
make
know.
sense. Bub
I don't even know
Means.
if it's a good name to watch. I don't know if I would play him or start him in any format because Patrick Surtain's going to cover somebody.
If you are desperate for a flex option, Bub Means could be a streamer this week that might absolutely change your life, and he might lose you the week. I would pay close attention though. I would pay close attention to him because if he performs well again this week, that's going to be somebody we're going to be looking to have on our Catching Fire episode.
All
So
right.
I had to mention him.
Yep.
It's a good one. That's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's what it's all about. Yeah. So Bub Means. Pay attention to that name. Also, I guess on the other side of the football, since I'm mentioning guys that I picked up this week that you guys need to pay attention.
I actually thought that's who you were going to say at first.
Yeah, so let me school you up on the other guy that's on the other side of the football. Also plays wide receiver. He is the clone of Tim Patrick on the same team. 6'5", 210 pounds. Devon, is it Vale? I don't know how to say his name. Vele. He's a
I think it's
26-year-old
Vele.
26-year-old rookie. So he has been a healthy scratch in 4 games this year. But the 2 games that he has played, he has averaged 7 targets with 8 and 6. He has over 120 receiving yards or 110 receiving yards, 11.9 fantasy points and 11.8 fantasy points. So watch out for him. He could be a sneaky guy that you might want to be paying attention to. Watch the game tomorrow. You're going to get to see him play.
You know who he's not? He's not Tim Patrick.
He's not. Man, Tim Patrick on that deep ball.
Go Lions. Do it, filthy.
Ooh,
All right.
Ooh, felt good. You looking to rush along? You looking to rush along and get into our weekly picks?
I was just
there,
gonna say
Mr. Sir?
those that don't really care about our personal dynasty league, you can keep watching if you want to, but
Yep.
this is where the average dynasty or fantasy football guy, this is just us stuff.
This
We're the big sleeves.
This is where it gets to our intimate league. I didn't mean for that to come out weird, but this is where it gets to be our home league, the one that we care about so much, that we have poured so much heart and soul into. So
That's why we got this channel started.
that's why we got this started.
Some of us more successfully than others.
One of us certainly less successful than the others, anyways.
Yeah.
It's called parody.
I'll see myself
It's
out.
called balance.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, you played me this week. That's right. Actually, you had a good week though.
Yeah. Not good enough. Yet
Seems
again.
to be what's happening every week. So, first game. We never
The
go
more
with
you
me
lie,
first.
the
So
blurrier your camera gets. So you might start telling some truths to clear yourself up.
You talking to me?
No, Sal.
Oh.
Go ahead.
first
What's the
game.
first
First
matchup?
game this week. We never go with my game first. This guy still hasn't updated his roster. He's got 3 guys
I know. I didn't. That was tough.
on
That's
bye
why.
week set. I think we're all going to take the same person anyways, though. It is me, carried by quarterbacks, versus I am your father, Darian. He's going to probably be projected somewhere around 115 based on quick math. My team is projected 150, 147, 58. I am 4-2. He is 2-4. I am taking me. Chuba Hubbard is a guy to watch out for. The running backs, really. If Chuba Hubbard and James Cook, if he plays, if they perform well, he could make this pretty interesting. Josh Jacobs has not been anything special yet this year.
No.
So he could burn me a little bit. So that'll be an interesting matchup to watch as running backs.
Yeah, I got Sal winning this by landslide. Sorry, Darian. Yeah, Darian's got too many buys and injuries going on right now.
The landslide will
just-
bring you down.
Even the guys on his bench, like Hayden Hurst, Colby Parkinson, Gabe Davis, Mike Williams. He's not even.
Gabe Davis had a good week
There's
last
some
week.
Yeah.
There's some trades to him out there that could help him this week
Yeah, we'll
A-Chain.
see.
if he would just respond to them.
Yeah, I mean, I got Sal in the landslide here. What you got,
That's
Corey?
my biggest.
Well, I'm
my
gonna
biggest
change
blowout
things
for the
up
week, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to change things up a little bit and take Sal
Yeah. Oh.
because it's too easy. I don't even know where to start. at every position, just dominate. Even if he had a starting roster with the guys not injured or on bye week, it's
Make me
still
nervous.
absolute dominance.
I appreciate the
But
confidence, but you're making me
Jordan
nervous.
Love for sure. Jordan Love at home against Houston. Enough said, man.
All
He's
right,
gonna have to start Tyrone Huntley and Matt Stafford this week, by the
Yeah.
way. Next game up, this is actually predicted to be the closest game. It is Corey versus Lagendijk. Corey is 1-5, predicted to get 138-34. Lagendijk is 3-3, projected to have 137-93. Want me to just keep going first? One of you guys want to go first? Corey probably wants to go last.
I'll go
Yeah, I'll
first
go
on
last.
this one. Yeah, this was actually pretty tough.
Close, man.
Yeah, I have this as my closest matchup as well, as I know Sleeper does, but I'm
I do
picking
too.
Corey this week. Teleprompter has a question mark.
I think last time you picked me, I won, so that works.
I'm picking Corey. I've got us looking at the running backs for this week. Brees Hall, Javonte Williams versus Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Depends on matchups.
So I also have this being the closest game of the week. I also have Corey winning. And the only reason why is when I just look at this, I'm comfortable starting every single person on Corey's roster that he's starting. He's got Kenneth Walker at Atlanta. That's, Bo Nix at New Orleans, Stevenson, Ramondre at Jacksonville, Amon-Ra at Minnesota, Debo against Kansas City, Evan Ingram against New England. I'm comfortable starting every single guy on his roster. I look over at Lagendijk's team. I'm not comfortable starting Javonte Williams. I'm not comfortable starting Michael Pittman coming off of that injury. He might even wind up on injured reserve still. I'm not comfortable with a couple of the guys that he's got starting.
Yeah.
So just because of that, I'm Corey.
Okay, Corey.
Well, now you both have me feeling nervous.
Corey.
I actually have to go back down to my own sheet to remember what I picked. Holy moly. I picked obviously me.
Obviously, okay. Yeah,
Obviously me. I'm um the only thing that I'm hesitating with is whether or not I should start Ramondre, but then I look at my other options. It's Eckler against Carolina now that Brian Robinson's probably coming back. I don't know, or Najee against the Jets. And it's been hit or miss with running backs against the Jets defense, and Najee has had one good week,
He might be
and
getting
that was last week.
Angry run scepter, Najee.
Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, I got me, and like I said before, watch out for Brock Bowers. Even though I'm playing against him, but it makes me nervous every time I see how many points he's going to score, especially in our format for it. So
I have no intention of dissuading you from playing Ramondre this week. Just FYI. However, I just want to point out Austin Eckler has not scored less than 10. He has not scored less than 13.7. You can be pretty confident he's going to score somewhere around there this week. So keep that in mind.
All right.
Yeah.
So we all went Corey. Moving right along, we have got Doss. He is 3-3, playing against Shannon with his newly acquired super team at 4-2. I have Shannon mopping the floor with him.
Is this your largest margin of victory?
Nope, my game is.
Oh, okay. I have this one. I don't have certain players to watch out for, so you can mention yours in a second. I just said Shannon wins this larger margin of victory. Doss needs help. His roster needs help.
Yeah, running backs are what I'm looking at. Jonathan Taylor's, I'm sure, going to get slotted in, especially if he's healthy. But that's literally the only running back he has that he can.
Well, I know why Doss didn't set his lineup yet. He was at the station cooking for my last shift meal all day, so that's my fault.
Oh.
Yeah, if you will.
Who you got? We both got Shannon.
Shannon. For the same reasons. I mean, Shannon's team looks about as unstoppable as Wesley's has all season now that he's acquired Godwin and
CD.
CeeDee
And
Lamb,
Tony
even
Pollard.
though Lamb they're on a bye week. Yeah. But yeah, even if he slots in Jonathan Taylor, I did send him a trade earlier today, and then when he came up and he said he saw it and he laughed. So I got for that alone, I'm picking
Yeah,
Shannon.
that's why. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen. Shannon's team is exponentially better than it was. He scored 20 more points after that trade than he'd scored any week before.
Mhm.
His team is looking ridiculously better. A little salty about it. Moving forward, Trevor Quinn versus Richard. Quinn is 3-3. Richard is 2-4. Quinn is projected to win by 16. Corey, you go first. You haven't done it yet.
I will.
You have to.
When Richards, I'm picking Trevor, and it's not because I don't like Rich's team, but ETN not performing the way he needs him to, and now I'm just seeing now that he's projected 0. I don't know if you guys are seeing that live update. I didn't see that before, but it says 0 now
Yeah, I see that
for
now.
ETN and his roster. So that concerns me a lot.
He's going to slide in Marvin Harrison for sure.
But yeah, but I don't know that it'll make that much difference. Cooper Kupp's coming back
Oh, that's right.
for the Rams. Something I was holding my tongue on until the right moment to say. Kupp is coming back. Andy's got the number 1 quarterback and a top 5 running back and a top 5 wide receiver.
Mhm.
And Aldridge only has 1 top 5 anything, and it's King Henry. So
I'd like to mention that I think A.J. Brown is probably really close to top 5 on average for
I'm
wide
sure he
receiver.
is.
And Amari Cooper is going to be exponentially better, I would expect anyways.
What's your sell?
I have this actually being a pretty close game. Just looking at it, I love every single matchup. I love the guys that he's starting on Richard's side, except for James Conner. And I would imagine, like I
In
said
that
earlier,
flex spot.
yeah, I would
Mhm.
imagine that Marvin Harrison winds up being his super flex. That is the difference maker for me. I think that super flex spot for him could burn him, but I look at the other side and Sam Darnold in his super flex spot playing against Detroit. Also coming off of a bad week last time that he played. 4.26 points against the Jets. Not impressive. I'm going to be different, and I'm going to take Richard to win this game. I think it's going to be close.
I wanted to be different.
Do it. Be different.
I said I'm actually going to go with the upset here as it shows
Come to
on
the dark
paper,
side.
and I'm going with Richard winning this one.
We have cookies.
Cookies.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
so
like it.
2 for Richard, 1 for Shannon. Or 1 for Quinn.
Last game of the week, we've got Corpy. Corpy is 2-4. We've got Wesley. Wesley is 6-0, the only undefeated team in our league. You're not going to get to go first on this one. Corey, why don't you go first again?
I want to be different, but I just can't. Wes is going to walk away with this one. No questions asked. Clean sweep. 7-0. Congratulations.
I think there are questions to be asked.
I don't think there are.
I think that there are a lot of really, really positive things for Corpy. I think he has some excellent matchups.
Yes,
I'm a little nervous about his flex spot. Starting Darius Slayton, starting Tyler Algier. I don't love those starts for him. I look at his bench.
Jacoby Myers should be in there for sure.
Jacoby Myers is on the bench right now. If he starts Jacoby Myers, I think this is good. I mean, if it's me, I'm looking at Jacoby Myers and Sam Laporta, and I'm taking, Sam Laporta hasn't had a great season, but his ceiling is so much higher than Slayton or Algier. I'm starting both of them. If he starts both of them, I think he could beat you. He's not starting both of them, though, so I'm taking Wes.
I
Corpy, take
will.
my advice and change it.
I will lose eventually, but it's not going to be this week. Like I said earlier, the show, Kamara is going to get a lot of targets. Metcalf can't be this bad for this long. He's going to bounce back. Montgomery's going to get at least one touchdown. Josh Allen against Tennessee, he's gonna have a 40-point game.
Metcalf
I
is another
with
good
his new toy.
yeah. Kareem Hunt's back in the starting lineup. San Francisco, we'll see how that goes. And Lamar Jackson.
Wanderlei,
Monday
baby.
night. Yeah, I got Wandale in there. I'm not sure if this is how my line's gonna stay. It might though. Who knows? Maybe I'll throw Juwan Johnson in there.
Don't do it.
No.
I want to mention Wandale since we're going over him. Buddy is averaging 10 targets a game. He's had less than 8 targets one time. His last 4 games, 8 targets,
yeah.
14, 9, 11. I mean, the guy is getting fed the ball, albeit terrible targets, but they're still targets.
Yeah.
He's putting together
5 of 11 last week. Wow, I didn't even see that.
He's wide receiver
Yikes.
23 on the season, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a PPR format. So that's our last game. That is our last game for the week, boys and girls. Quick run back through. Wesley 6-0, number 1. I am number 2 at 4-2. Shannon creeping up on me at 4-2 is number 3. Trevor Quinn at number 4 at 3-3. Lagendijk and Doss also tied with him at 3-3. Trevor Quinn has outscored both those teams by 100 points on the season, though, so he's ahead of them. 2-4. There are 3 teams: Corpy, Darian, and Richard, and then bringing up the rear in dead last place. He's won 1 game this year. But I want to note something, all right? I want to note something.
He's got to move back to Michigan, then he'll start playing better.
He is 4th in points on the season.
Yeah.
Wesley, he might be 5th. 1, 2, 3.
I think it's 5th.
He's in 5th. He's in 5th in points, and he is 1-5 in dead last place. Just consider that. It's going to turn around for him.
Hey, it's all about who you play, because I'm not number 1 each week. If I would have played different people, I could have losses. So
Yeah.
it depends on who you play.
Somebody's got to be this spot every year. It's me this time.
It happens, man. It always happens.
Yep.
So, anyways, that is rounding up what our league is looking like. We didn't do a show where we made picks last week, so apologize, boys. We had a lot of stuff going on, but that's the show for this week.
Yep.
That wraps everything up. You can go ahead and take your seatbelts back off because we've landed. The WPF crew has had a great time. I have.
Oh, yeah.
Boys, any last thoughts?
No, let's go.
Let's
take that lead in the NFC North this Sunday. We'll talk
Man,
about that later.
I would love to see Detroit win this. I would love to see it, man.
Well, good night, boys.
It's been real, and it's been fun, boys.
What you got?
I got one more thing before we sign off. The next show we record, I will be coming to you live from West Michigan.
Let's go.
Yay!
Saturday, baby.
Saturday.
West Michigan, North Michigan, East Michigan. We're at the whole state
Somewhere.
covered.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good night, boys.
Have a good one.
Night.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed our content and look forward to more, please drop a like and subscribe to the When Pigs Can Fly Fantasy Football Show.